All right, thank you so much. Now, we've all heard that you can't believe what you see on social media, and that's never been more true than now. Some of the cool videos and pics that have gotten your likes have a new disclaimer on them. AI generated. So that's right, we're light years beyond glitzy filters and have moved to things that simply don't even really exist. So what kind of toll can that take on your own self-esteem? Rachel Boyd with the Center for Integrative Counseling and Psychology is here to explain. Hi, Rachel, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me.
No, I'm glad that you're here because I think that this is a topic that we really need to dive into. AI is here, it's here to stay. There have not been any kind of government parameters as of yet that really can control it. But these images really differ a lot from, regular or traditional photos. And I'm curious about, what do you think the potential is on how they can impact our self-esteem?
Right, yeah. So I think part of that is understanding that something can look fake and we rationally know that it is, but our brain has a really hard time processing that. So oftentimes our thoughts and feelings feel real, but they're not always true. And the same thing happens when we look at images. We look at that and we think, okay, well, this is really shaping how I view myself, how I view other people, and how I view the world.
All right, so one of the things that had been a concern when it comes to social media is that we have a tendency to compare ourselves. So we see, friends or even non-friends, but we see them out there, they're enjoying their best life, everything seems fantastic, and then we look at our lives and we feel kind of lonely and depressed because nothing's that glamorous. Could AI have the potential to increase those feelings, to enhance someone's potential for really loneliness and depression?
Yeah, I think that, it can influence us. It's like when we watch a movie, we know it's not real, but we can still experience like the full range of human emotions. And so if our self-esteem is low or in an unhealthy place, we project those insecurities on that image. So it's really stuff that we're already carrying around with us that impacts when we look at these images.
Well, I think it affects everybody, but I would imagine it would affect those who would be potentially more impressionable. We're talking young people who really kind of want to see themselves or want to see their best self kind of transmitted into these kinds of images that they are gathering on social media. So how dangerous is it for those that might be even more impressionable than, say, adults?
Right, yeah. So what I tell my clients at the center, especially my adolescent clients, is that our self-esteem is almost like Jenga blocks, right? Like we want to have a really good foundation that's supportive and stable. So if our things are automatically going to influence our self-esteem and take some of those blocks away over time, but then with that it does affect us, and when that base is forming is oftentimes when we are younger and our brain is still developing. So it's a really important part that shapes our beliefs.
All right, so then what kinds of conversations should we as parents have with our kids? For example, I have a 14-year-old at home. So far, she's not on social media, but I know that that's going to be changing soon. So what would be kind of the types of conversations I need to have with her before she delves into this whole new, sometimes dangerous world?
Yeah, I would say have an open dialogue, right? Like ask questions like, what are your likes and dislikes with AI generated images? How do you feel, and how do you feel like it affects you when you look at that? Another part of that conversation is also talking about, putting our self-esteem in things that is actually helpful. So there's really 5 components that can make up our self-esteem. Things like our identity, feelings of belonging, feelings of competency, and feelings of security, and self-confidence. So if parents can direct conversations to those areas, it can be really helpful in building a secure base for the child or adolescent in what they're viewing.
Social media has given us a lot, but it's also caused a lot of problems. Is there any way one can have like a healthy relationship with social media and get the benefits rather than the negative aspects of it?
I think it goes back to like, what is your self-esteem based on, right? Like, is it strictly external factors like what someone says or what their opinion is of you, or more internal factors like what are the negative beliefs I have about myself? And so understanding that's really important, and also asking yourself, like, what is our underlying motivation for looking at social media? Is it to engage in a fun, creative way to connect? Or am I using it to avoid, numb, or always distract from my feelings? So I think essentially a healthy relationship with social media starts with a healthy relationship with ourselves and the tools on how to cope with our feelings.
All right, that is great, great insight. Where can we find you?
I'm at the Center for Integrative Counseling and Psychology in Dallas. And you can go to our website at thecentercounseling.org or even find us on social media.
Fantastic. This has been great insight. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Okay, Jane?